Planning process. Now till now we have learned about the meaning of planning. We read about the features, importance and limitations of planning. We got an idea about what is planning overall. But the most important part comes over here, that is where we need to understand that how is planning done actually. Let's begin with the first point. What is the first point saying? Setting up of objectives. So in planning, the manager's first step would be to set up the objectives. Objectives as in set up the organizational goals which he wants to achieve. See what's written here. Objectives specify what the organization wants to achieve. Objectives can be set for the entire organization. That means we're talking here about the organizational goal. And it can be stated to each and every department within the organization very clearly to determine how all the departments would contribute towards the overall objectives. These then have to percolate down to the employees at all the levels so that they understand how their actions contribute to achieving the organizational objectives. Understood what is setting up of objectives? Setting up of objectives is actually forming the organizational goals. Okay, the manager has to clearly give the objectives of the organization, keeping in mind the goals of the company. After setting up the goals, what the manager has to do? The manager has to communicate this goal to the different departments, to the different employees, so that they get themselves prepared, they understand their contribution towards the achievement of the organizational goal. The first step is the setting up of objectives. Clear? Next point says developing premises. Now what is developing premises? This premises, we are not talking about any building or something. Premises means we make assumptions regarding the future. We make forecasts. Understood? Let's read what's written here. Planning are made on the basis of some assumptions. These assumptions provide the basis of planning, which are called premises. All the managers involved in the planning procedure should be familiar with them because plans are expected to operate and reach their destination subject to these. These can be internal premises, cost of product, capital, machinery, profitability. External premises, changes in technology, population growth, competition, government policies, etc. The main point over here that we need to understand is we make certain assumptions, and based on these assumptions we start our planning procedure. Correct? Some assumptions are made internally, like cost of the product or capital or machinery. So we can assume that the cost of the product in the future, it could be maybe 1 lakh rupee, or we have to attain a profitability of 20%. So that is our internal assumption, that is our internal premises. Correct? Now external premises means the population growth could be 10% increased in the upcoming year. So based on that we need to make our plan. The government policy could change from this to this in the upcoming future. So on the basis of that we make our plan. So these are basically the assumptions that we make regarding the future. If it is done internally, it is internal premises. If it is done outside the business, it is external premises. Okay? Next is point number 3. Point number 3 says identifying the alternative courses of action. Now, after setting up the objectives and after making the assumptions in step number 2, what comes next? We have to put up the different alternatives or different options that are available in order to reach that particular goal. For example, if the objective or if the organizational goal of the company is to increase the sales by 10%, then what options it could have? It can increase the sale by either option number 1, that is offering more discount. If there is more discount, definitely the sale would increase. Or point number 2 can be increasing the share in the market. Or you can do by adding more products, more sales. If we do better advertisement, then definitely my sales would increase. So you see, just for increasing the sales, so many different options are available. So these are my alternatives. These are the different options which I have. Okay, options for what? Options to reach my organizational goals. So I will list down the different alternatives. I will list down the different options available to me. Done with it? Now coming to the next point. After we have listed all the options, all the alternatives, now I have to evaluate them. Evaluate them means I have to check their positive aspects, I have to check their negative aspects. So after making the list of various alternatives, this kind of evaluation needs to be done for each and every point. The positive points would be noted down, the negative points would be noted down. Correct? For all. For this, as well as for this. Okay, let's read what's written here. The positive and negative aspects of each and every proposal needs to be evaluated to determine their feasibility. Feasibility means the possibility of actually bringing it into implementation. Correct? So I will evaluate it. Next one, selecting the best alternative. Now what I have with me, I have my different options with me and I have their related positive and negative aspects. Correct? So based on all those positive and negative aspects, I will choose the best alternative. Now what is the best alternative? If I say in common language, the option which will has the least number of negative aspects, least number of disadvantages, that plan I will choose. Okay, so the real point of decision making is the best plan has to be adopted and implemented. And what is the ideal plan? The ideal plan will be most feasible. Most feasible means it is actually practical enough to be implemented, it is profitable for my organization, and it has the least negative consequences, that means least disadvantages. That plan I will choose and that will be selected for implementation finally. Correct? Now comes what? Comes point number 6. Point number 6 says implementing the plan. What is implementing the plan? Implementing the plan means concerned of putting the plan into action. That means we are actually taking up the plan and starting to follow it. That is implementation. And what do we need for implementation? See, for implementing the plan, the managers start organizing and assembling the resources. That means whatever resources are required, whatever financial capital is required, that is started to being collected. We are collecting it. For example, if the plan is to increase the sales, the example that we used in the previous step. And how are we increasing the sales? We chose this plan. See, for increasing the sales, we had so many options available, right? But which one my company found the most feasible? The company found this point more feasible. Enhancing advertisement expenditure. So this plan we are finally implementing, or this alternative we are finally implementing. We had so many options, right? But this plan is actually finalized by the organization. So we are implementing the plan. But how do we implement the plan? Or how do we put it into action? We need to give funds to the advertisement agency. We need to select which media to advertise upon. We need to find out the best advertisement agency that will make ads for our organization or for our product. Isn't it? Understood? Now from here comes another concept. What is the concept? The concept is about derivative plans. What are derivative plans? Understand, after preparing the main plan, the organization has to make a number of small plans to support the main plan. Correct? Now these small plans are also called as derivative plan. Now take this example. What was my main plan over here? To increase my sales by enhancing my advertisement expenditure. This is my main plan. And what is my derivative plan? How to increase the advertisement expenditure. That means allocating funds to the advertisement agency, allocating or finding which media to advertise upon, finding a good advertisement agency. Right? So these are the small plans based on the main plan which I have selected. Correct? So if we talk here about the main plan, so the main plan will remain same. That is, increase the production. This is my main plan. But what is my derivative plan? Derivative plan is actually the small plans through which we fulfill our main plan. How it is? Increasing the labor, increasing machinery. If required, we have to purchase that. So these are the small plans related to the main plan, called as derivative or supportive plans. Understood the concept of derivative or supportive plans? First, we make a main plan, and in order to fulfill or implement the main plan, we need to make certain small plans. Okay? Those are called as what? Those are called as main or those are. I hope this would be clear. And at last comes the follow-up action. What is follow-up action? Follow-up action is carefully monitoring the plan when it is being implemented. Okay? It is not that once we have made the plan and we will forget it. No. There has to be continuous monitoring. There has to be continuous looking after the plan, that whatever plan we are implementing, it is proper or not, it is good for the present situation or not. Okay, let's read what's written here. The follow-up action involves monitoring the plan and ensuring the activities are performed according to the schedule. Okay, this is also very important. Whatever plan I have made, suppose my plan is to increase the production, and for that I require more labor and more machinery. So I have to check whether more machinery is actually available or not. And if it is not available, then proper steps are being taken to purchase it or not. Okay? Next point says, whenever there are deviations from the plan. Suppose machinery is not available and proper purchase is not being done. That means we are deviating from the plan. Then immediate action has to be taken to bring implementation of the plan according to the actual plan. Correct? So that is all for today. We'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.